Hello, welcome back to Living History with Ted Goldsborough and our guests, Dr. Sam and Mrs. Dorothy Edgerton, who grew up in Lower Merion, but they're visiting. They live in Williamstown, Massachusetts, and we're continuing our conversation. Mrs. Edgerton, you said that when you were at Merion Mercy Misericordia, there was an observation that you had.
It was very strict. We were expected to do our work and excel, and we only had field hockey and dance and this wonderful singing program. HMS Pinafore was performed with wonderful stars, but I don't remember seeing any blacks.
In the whole school?
There weren't any blacks.
Were there any nuns, African-American nuns?
No.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing, no.
Yeah.
So even in grade school, I don't remember
Yeah,
this.
St. Matthias.
Yeah.
No. So that was missed, I would say.
Yes. 50 years later, we realized that we weren't very well integrated.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know whether Sam remembers any blacks. And
Well, it's interesting. Back, if I could just leave the Philadelphia area, when I was growing up in Cleveland, the I wouldn't call them segregated, but the lower class people who were endangering the upper class people on one end of the railroad tracks, literally, were Italians, poor Sicilians, poured into the Cleveland area there. They all wore black shoes, pointed toes, and we wore Buster Brown shoes, and that was a distinction right away. You could tell where they came from. But we had very few blacks. The blacks hadn't yet really come into Cleveland in that number. So actually, when I got to Lower Merion School, when I saw Julius Beckton in front of me, I was the first black I'd ever seen in school. Yeah, yeah.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Hard to believe.
Yeah, I know it, yeah.
Now, when you were a high school student, were you interested in art?
Well, I was always, I had kind of a natural talent as a cartoonist. My grandfather always used to encourage me for that, but I used to mostly just draw. When my parents would punish me, go up to my room, you know, and I would actually build a stage and produce little plays and make things there. I was very creative with that. And I even invented my own country, and I had a funny coat like this with hairbrushes on the corner for epaulets, and I became the emperor of this little thing that I had designed the plans and all that for it. So I was always, that was part of my, I had a lonely childhood, but I internalized it in a wonderful way. I had a rich imagination, and I had a happy childhood by being alone, if you will.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, you created your own world.
I created my own world, right.
Now, you do have a sister, Marjorie.
Correct.
Is she older or younger?
2 years younger.
Younger, huh? And she's in the Philadelphia area.
That's correct.
Yes, and she was with us yesterday.
Indeed.
Yes.
This program will probably be aired in November, December, but yesterday, for the audience's point of view, we had an event at the former site of the Ardmore Avenue School, and she was with you, which was nice to see. All right, now we're if you don't mind, we'll continue and try and wrap up Merion Mercy.
All these good pictures, wonderful.
And could you tell Mrs. Edgerton some of the activities that you were in? You did mention, I think, cheerleading and the play.
Yes, and a little bit of field hockey and this dance program.
Dance. Any music for you?
Well, music, yes. We had a music.
Choir.
Yes, music. I guess every semester there was you had a elective, and I chose music. So that was wonderful. Testing your voice, you know. Okay, you can go. You can go into the choir at HMS Pinafore. So we just loved that. That was fun.
Now,
So
I think you had met Dr. Sam.
Right.
And where was that?
That's at Haverford College, that photograph.
How did you
Sam had many friends, you know, after he got over his shyness at the first introduction to Lower Merion. He went back, and he was a great cartoonist. He did cartoons of all his buddies. That he still has a big scroll of them in the on the football team. Is it? No.
Well, they were many too. But all these guys here were all Lower Merion graduates, but they went to Hereford College.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
So about, would this, give a time thing. Are we talking 45, 46, 47?
Oh, this would have been, I guess, 49 or 48 or 49.
Okay, so they were in college.
Right.
Well, you were.
Yeah,
You were
yeah,
at Penn.
Right.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I guess I was working in Philadelphia,
Yeah.
Okay.
in the law office.
Now, you have two things here. We have the same picture, but could you tell who drew that picture, painting?
This is our daughter Perky Edgerton, who is now, well, she's teaching at Penn and Swarthmore for this semester, but she's a very talented, wonderful artist. She changed the colors a little bit because she wanted to, this little new technique,
Yes.
brought orange into my dress, which wasn't there. It was all black. And we tried to figure out, she just had a show in Philadelphia. We were trying to figure out who these people were, because we were invited to this party at Hartford. Sam, well, you can tell why we were invited.
Well, this is the tower was where all these are guys who are my contemporaries. Quite a few of them are Lower Merion, not all of them, but they were all, I think, in their junior senior year, and I was in my junior senior year at Penn about the same time. We were all very contemporary, and this is one of those. I guess it was a spring party when school was closing down. Everybody's getting a little bit, getting festive, and.
Sam moved very quickly.
Well, I could tell you there's
society in Lower Merion.
Yeah. There's Harry Nason. He's one of the last of my friends who's still alive.
Okay.
There's Gogi Wallace. She was a pretty girl at that time. I can't remember what's become of her. She's tweaking in the face of Phil Maroney, who's another one of my great buddies, who's now very old right now.
He was one of our class agents for your class, or for 45,
friend,
I
yeah.
think. Yeah.
And
Is Nason, was that Toppy Nason?
no, Harry was Nason.
Harry,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
His wife's deceased a while back, and he's married again.
Did he live in Arbroath as a kid?
No, I think Harry lived in Kenwood somewhere.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
There was a Nason that lived in Arbroath Park with
Yeah.
Greer Heindel and Dick Whiting.
Yeah, I know
That's
all
why I
those
asked.
guys too,
Okay,
but this was
okay.
not the same Nason. And he
Okay.
had no brothers. He had a sister, but no brothers.
Okay.
And I'm not, these other people here, Stan Hammond, I think, is this guy here who sold me my first insurance policy.
Oh.
And can't remember some of the others here. We're still arguing over who this was.
Now you're at a dance.
Yeah.
And I
These
believe,
are all
these are
Sam's
her.
friends, yes.
Okay.
No, not here. Yeah, these are.
Yes,
yeah.
yes. Why don't I take those so that and if you could tell me, Mrs. Edgerton, about the dance.
I wish I knew where that was. Such a
I
wonderful
think Dr. Sam and I figured out that it was at a hotel in Philadelphia.
Oh yeah.
Sheraton
I
or
think.
something.
I think, yes.
Yes.
And I've asked Dr. Herman Giersch, who was a music teacher in the Lower Merion School District, who had a dance band,
Yeah.
if he knew the initials. I think it says CE on their
right.
music stand.
Yes.
And I'm going to see him in about an hour, but he didn't off the top of his head. He couldn't remember who that band.
Yeah.
But would that have been Merion Mercy or Lower
This is the
Merion?
Merion Mercy. These Merion Mercy, we just weren't as social as Lower Merion, and didn't have a lot of dates or boyfriends.
Okay.
And when this happened, the senior ball, or one of the maybe the fall ball, people didn't have young women didn't have the dates, so there was one classmate whose brother was at Valley Forge.
Yes.
So she used to bust them in
Okay.
or he did.
Yes,
his
yes,
pals
yes,
to
yes.
help
And
these
that was
women
about-
out. So you can see some of them are all in uniform.
I saw the uniform. Now, would this have been about 47?
I think it was
48.
probably the full
Okay.
festival or something.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. I was looking at Lower Merion High School graduates, and it tells what class they are.
Right.
So we have Marjorie in 46 and Dr. Sam in 44.
Yeah.
And then a picture of Marjorie.
Right.
And,
got that long hair then, didn't she? Look at that. I haven't seen
and then Marjorie married Lou,
Yeah.
right?
Here he
So
is.
we have a picture of Lou.
it. Yeah.
And Lou is quite an athlete.
Oh, indeed.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we have him on 1944, and I guess Did they? No, they didn't win the state championship that year, but they came pretty close.
No, they lost to Hazleton badly, unfortunately.
Oh, okay.
But Lou had one great heroic moment. Shall I recite it?
Yes, sir.
In the 1944 football game, which I had not, 43 football game, in which Lower Merion was suburban champs. They had won straight victories all the way through. They ended up had 22 straight victories. And Radnor was hanging really in there tight in that Radnor game. Radnor had, the momentum was going for Radnor. And on one play where, I can't remember what it was, Beckton tossed this is a single wing back in those days, and he sent it to, I can't remember who the halfback was at that time, but they had a kind of a Statue of Liberty play, and the pass was a short pass to Bill West, and Bill West ran into a whole flock of guys, but Lou was hanging on the left of him, and this lateral pass to him, and he went over for the touchdown. 6-0, and Life magazine took a picture of the Radnor team there, utterly crushed because of like a minute or two to go. And Lower Merion won 6-0. Yeah,
that was close.
Yeah, right.
That was his moment of victory.
His moment of fame, right?
Yeah. Okay. And sometimes they list the people who got letters in there, and I think Beckton's in there.
Yeah,
and maybe
all those guys. Yeah. That's Hank Bonfig who died. He was a wonderful guy. Yeah.
I guess maybe I put this in for Beckton, but was Martson in here too? And I'm not sure I'm pronouncing his name correctly.
I think here he is, right here, Lou Morrison. Yeah, I think he ran hurdles.
T.Z.
T.Z.
Yeah, his father was the consul general in Philadelphia for Brazil. So he came. His very Portuguese family. Yeah, Portuguese-speaking family, if you would.
Yes. And I looked at commencement programs and saw that it was Samuel Young.
That's me. And there's Julius W.
Yeah.
All right. Now, just for something to do.
Yeah. Okay.
What is this?
Well, this is when at the beginning of 1945. Well, actually, this is 44. This is that continuing year that I did, in which I finished at 45.
Okay.
I'd already graduated.
The fall of 44.
The fall of 44, when Lower Merion was still on a winning streak. They did lose to Haverford 7-6 in a sad day. And I got to look at the date of this. I think this might have been that Haverford game. Yeah, in which I ran the scoreboard, and I was co-arbitrator. This was the other one. This is oh God, what's her name? I'll think of it in a minute. But anyway, I was very much interested in sports at that time, and we ran the scoreboard, and that's where that picture came from.
You won't believe it, but we've used up our time for our first program, but we're gonna do another one.
Yeah.
So we are signing off for this segment. My name is Ted Goldsborough with Living History with the Edgertons.